punished. Rest in peace to my nigga Izzy. Rest in peace to my nigga Jay Dilla. Love y'all niggas, man. Watch what I do in honoring y'all name. Streets, feel me. Check it. I'm nice with the lead, peel your edges like slices of bread. Precise, become a poltergeist, sticking knives inside of your head. What's the issue? Wanna roll like a roll of toiletry tissue? I continue to expose you niggas that's so superficial. I script you, yo, obituary, then blow like a missile. Once I blow the whistle, motherfuck, may the forces be with you. Come with a style, I'm while I'm pile up my money so kosher. Then call up my chauffeur, fucking bitches and back in the Rover. Then bounce to the cope, a bag of bitches outside of the Costa Rica area. Loving my features and carry my posters. Niggas can't fuck with me. Unprecedented, I submitted. You changing your flow up while helping you grow up. Niggas know you for sounding, so toe up. Challenging niggas, better hold on the banister. Niggas fuck around and stuff your body parts in the canister. Niggas like you don't know the half. I bust your motherfucking ass. Bust cast and papoose is fucking psychopaths. Niggas wanna get hyped out. Making 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 niggas wanna get hyped out.
My nigga beside me with triggers and niggas get body. I lock a strip and chop a brick like I'm Mr. Miyagi. But this ain't karate, I've been sick since I pissed in a potty. I probably been proper since my papa put dick in my mommy. I'm a cannon, man, holding a hammer, man. For the loot, nigga, shoot niggas like a cameraman. Snapping a picture, you get stuck like the back of a sticker. I got bars like the factory manufacturing Snickers. And I do crimes for the bread like croutons. With 2 nines, I be laying clowns down like futons. With the bullets in the rocket, my pockets is full of cream. My bullets steam, keep the still in my hands like Wolverine.
Congratulations on the trial, Cass.
I'm too
Welcome home, nigga.
Popping the metal, you niggas is not on my level. I'm locking the ghetto, man, I'm hot like a pot in the kettle. On the mic I spaz, who get it hype is Cass. And my nigga Buster, we some motherfucking psychopaths.
Making niggas wanna get hyped out. 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 Making niggas wanna get hyped out.
I'm an iceberg trapped in a fire, I won't melt. I'm a fetus that survived an abortion, I won't be killed. I'm the heart of Brooklyn, New York, I'm Bed-Stuy. I'm a Christian woman's hand on the Bible, I won't lie. I'm the coldest Salas in the Gotti crew. I'm an empty Mac right after a shootout. I just bodied you, got some shotgun pump shot at you like kamikaze do. Your baby mom's felt the wild cock back, cause she was sitting on my lap. I stayed with the ooh-wop strap. I put your baby daddy in a body bag. When I squeeze and let the wop clap, I Baghdad like Iraq. Hold on, let me put my gun down.
Yo, I know they trying to figure out what the fuck we got going on, Pat.
This is my era, y'all niggas is losers. I'm the new era like a mistake on your computer. Got the infrared dot, busting you gullible suckers too. Put a dot on your ass like www.
Making niggas wanna get hyped out. Making niggas wanna get hyped out. Making niggas wanna get hyped out. Making niggas wanna get hyped out.
I'm a black atheist and there's more of us than you think. What you think? That I would just sit up and just let you cheat? Never, as long as there's a beat, a single breath in me. I'ma keep attacking every religious faction, every single section. If I didn't mention yours, every missed rapture, every single infection. If I failed to mention yours, then you'll get it next. Then check it. They wanna shut me up, rap, shackle, and collar me. I try to dumb it down, but they won't even follow me. That's Scientology, then embrace other mythologies like Joseph Smith, Zeus, the Tooth Fairy, and Bartleby. They tried to threaten me, say I would get it the worst, even be cursed by characters from the viewer's universe. Fuck you complaining for? You think you living in hell when Muslim chicks can't even wear pants without going to jail? Hell yeah, religion's a problem. That's why I stay on the topic. That's why they wanna stop me like I'm assaulting they prophet. Ain't no used to read, they were gonna kill me and such. Now they read section. If I didn't mention yours, every missed rapture, every single infection. If I failed to mention yours, then you'll get it next then.
Goddamn that I am. Religion's a corporate scam. No voting for Uncle Sam. Enslaved with praying hands. The birth of the straw man, who's part of his fraud plan. Fight tribal with family clans. Use rifles to conquer lands. I self as Lord and Master. Mass graves in a war disaster. Kill gays and cordless pastors. Enraging some conscious rappers. Engaging in helter skelter. The rage from the sun will melt them. Past days I was feeling helpless. I prayed, but the gods is selfish. Escape from a mental prison. Make dates for a cataclysm. The state of the global system. Erasing an earth collision. Extinction level event. From comments that's heaven sent. Atomic malevolence. Trick knowledge from presidents. The study of evidence. Pursuing benevolence. Galactic alliances with secular scientists. Immortal astrologists. Exploring the bottomless. Ignored by the populace. On course with apocalypse.
Lyrical debate. I'ma throw everything plus the sink. I'm a black atheist and there's more of us than you think. What'd you think? That I would just sit up and just let you cheat? Never, as long as there's a beat, a single breath in me. I'ma keep attacking every religious faction, every single section. If I didn't mention yours, every missed rapture, every single infection. If I failed to mention yours, then you'll get it next then. Another form of population control. The very idea and nature of somebody needing to save us is old. Religiosity's taking its toll. You don't even challenge the old worldviews they placed in your skull. That's why I got you beat with a whole array of common functions. You're weak and think you need a god to accomplish something. Another classic case of codependence. If he's all that you say that he is, he probably negates his own existence. They exterminate enemies in the form of raids. Former slaves still serving the gods of former slaves. I fight for the freedom of strangers when I blurt lines. I'm Tilk on the mic, Apophysis X first prime. I've been constantly evolving since the first rhyme. You can do one thing with yours, I can invert mine. I dare your God to show up to damn my blasphemy. I bet I'll have more questions for his ass than I'll have for me. Lyrical debate, I'ma throw everything plus the sink. I'm a black atheist and there's more of us than you think. What'd you think? That I would just sit up and just let you cheat? Never, as long as there's a beat, a single breath in me. I'ma keep attacking every religious faction, every single section. If I didn't mention yours, every missed rapture, every single infection. If I failed to mention yours, then you'll get it next then. Lyrical debate, I'ma throw everything plus the sink. I'm a black atheist and there's more of us than you think. What'd you think? That I would just sit up and just let you cheat? Never, as long as there's a beat, a single breath in me. I'ma keep attacking every religious faction, every single section. If I didn't mention yours, every missed rapture, every single infection. If I failed to mention yours, then you'll get it next then. Inspire, hate, despair, and drama. If your God does love you, I hope you make him wear a condom. People think with prayer they're safe in the streets. Frederick Douglass didn't become free till he prayed with his feet. You can tell the hell in God are man-made. They both want to question authority and demand slaves. And any incarnation of slavery's not good. So from here we can deduce Stockholm Syndrome is not hood. But it gets deeper than this, especially when people get pissed when you point out their deity's nature and even intent. But I'll never worship anything with evil in it, especially something who allows evil to even exist. I don't give a shit if he created me. That don't give him the right to commit genocide with pride and act crazily. His abused and neglected claim is crooked biz. If this was Cali, DCFS would've came and took his kids. Belief is so important that if you don't, you go to hell. Without the type of proof you need in court to avoid a jail. Give me the gas can and send me. I don't need the draws, all because I can't fathom how your God doesn't need a cause.
About you, but this looks like imprisonment.
Yeah.
What's worse is that the prisoners don't know that they're prisoners.
Yeah.
Even defend the tactics that are used to imprison them.
You're a conquered mind, trying to conquer other minds, selling.
Come out here all about you, but this looks like imprisonment.
Yeah.
What's worse is that the prisoners don't know that they're prisoners. Even defend the tactics that are used to imprison them.
Another conquered mind, trying to conquer other minds, please.
Come and hear our truth.
Religious freedom is an oxymoron. None of them books scare me, not the Bible, not the Quran. This is the Islam, and it's fundamentalism. The day you release your women, I'll quit releasing venom. Until then, no amount of scientific contributions could ever excuse your hateful chauvinistic institution. But here's the real reason I'm not a Muslim. Children see your anointed prophet taking children as wives. One he married at 6 and consummated at 9. He was somewhere in his 50s trying to get in them draws. She wasn't even 10 yet, still playing with dolls. So they try to hit me with the older times were different, rationalizing atrocities. Now you sound like Christians. I charge the views on women as sickening. Either update the culture or just fade into history. But either way,
this looks like imprisonment. What's worse is that the prisoners don't know that they're prisoners. Even defend the tactics that are used to imprison them.
a conquered mind trying to conquer other minds, selling.
Come out here all about you, but this looks like imprisonment. What's worse is that the prisoners don't know that they're prisoners. Even defend the tactics that are used to imprison them.
For conquered minds trying to conquer other minds, a challenge.
Come out here all about you, but this looks like imprisonment. What's worse is that the prisoners don't know that they're prisoners. Even defend the tactics that are used to imprison them.
For conquered minds trying to conquer other minds, selling.
Come out here all about you, but this looks like imprisonment. What's worse is that the prisoners don't know that they're prisoners. Even defend the tactics that are used to imprison them.
For conquered minds trying to conquer other minds, a challenge.
Come and hear our truth.
When it comes to speak about women in Islam, now I am free, but I cannot forget my niece. She was forced to marry her cousin when she was 10. He was over 40. Her marriage was valid and legalized under the Islamic Sharia because Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, married his second wife when she was 6. He was over 50.
Taking my own life to my own hands. RBG, refined, be a grown man. See, that's what I'm doing, cause I know it's inside of me. All I gotta do is just bring it to reality. It's fuck the government, but still I gotta pay the rent. So yeah, I'm for the caper, most definite. Keeping it militant, focused, intelligent. Keeping the system, common sense. Is still fuck the kid. Black hair, white shit be going to see. We break man, it's like a game or sport. Gotta train every day to keep the team on point. Cause still, to this day, our reparations ain't paid. And you can see it in the poverty round way. It ain't even our own people on BT. So they gotta get it from somebody. It might as well be me.
Yeah, what's going on? I'll be with you in 1 second.
Eat when they hungry. How they send troops to war for their country. Worldwide need an army of one. Revolution to the fullest. Put the bullets in the gun. These the last days. 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 These the last days.
You there? All right, you there? All right, here we go. All right, peace and black power, family. It's your boy, Psychopath, Black at you. Sorry for a little mix up in the beginning, but what's good though, family? Let me get a 1 out there if y'all can hear me straight. Let's make sure we get the audios right before we get going. Make sure everything's straight. Shout out to Global African Tribalism. Shout out to Lovely. Shout out to Shorty Womp Womp. Muchacha was good, sis. Hey, what's going on? Jalen was good. Phobos was going on. Good. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, shout out to the family out there. You know what I mean? We got an interesting topic that I want to discuss today. You know, y'all get a chance to really hear me a lot, go in on religion from time to time. You know, y'all know I'm a recovering anti-theist. I'm recovering, but every now and then I go through it. You know, I have a relapse. And you know, I start going in on religion from time to time, but you know, y'all really don't get a chance to really, you know, a lot about, you know, how I got to be this way, and like how it is to be a Black atheist within this community. I touch on it from time to time occasionally, but I really don't get too deep into a topic like this, as far as dedicating the whole stream. And I think it's important for us to address this topic in particular, because I hear a lot of other Black atheists out here, and a lot of our stories are similar. Some was raised in the church, and then you have others like myself who was never really religious to begin with. It's real interesting, but we all go through the same backlash of us not believing in other people's deities, or just not believing in a deity at all. You know, like people can't seem to fathom that in their brain. Like how does that even work? You know, because you know they went their whole life believing in stuff, so when they hear this, you know, it's like incoherent to them, and cognitive dissonance start kicking in, and you know they tend to, like, you know, start denying that they think you're lying to them. It's kind of funny, but we're gonna get all into that. I want to introduce Emperor Atheist. You know, he's a popular Black atheist on YouTube. You know, he touches on a lot of things, you know, well informed. Shout out and introduce him. What's good, man? You want to let the family know what's going on, like what your background and everything?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's going on? Yeah, you know, those who don't know me. Did you hear some echo in that, man?
You hearing the echo?
Yeah, do you hear echo? Echo.
I don't think nobody else sees an echo. I think you're good.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I'm Emperor Atheist, man. I've been on YouTube. This is my second time back on YouTube as a vlogger. Author. Was raised up in the church, man, originally from Inglewood, California. I've been doing this for a little while now. I'm into debating. I like debate theists because I like to get the ideas out there. I like to push back bad ideas. I got a lot of things as far as from religion. As far as religion, there's a lot of things that I got growing up, both negative and positive. Important, you know, man, for us to destigmatize atheism, especially in the Black community. So I try to like focus as far as on Black atheism. But yeah, I went to school. Started off USC, transferred to Georgia Tech on the football academic scholarship. I took up physics with a concentration in. Then I got into a little beef, a little trouble at school. Went on to seminary college, which my father was a pastor of a major church in Jacksonville, Florida, in Atlanta. My grandfather was a pastor and a bishop in Jacksonville. So I came up under two pastors. So the Bible, as far as the Bible teachings and the belief, the indoctrination, it was there from an early age. I used to actually love, you know, the Bible, the study of the Bible. But then eventually, over the years, after seminary school, a lot of questions started coming to me. I was dealing with a lot of different brothers, a lot of different cultures and ideologies. And I always been one man to challenge even my own beliefs. I always tried to be unbiased to even what I thought I knew, you know what I mean, or what I thought I understood. So basically, studying the Bible the way I studied it, I only had one particular tunnel vision view of it at one point. But then I stepped back. Certain things made me step back and look at it holistic way. So I started questioning a lot of things, but I still kept my belief though, you know what I mean? But I started questioning things, and it got clearer and clearer over the years. You know, this just didn't happen all of a sudden. There was over a long period of time before I actually accepted that I rejected the God belief totally. So, you know, it was you know, I dipped down a lot of different things. Black Hebrewism. I studied Nile Valley civilization, Arabic. I studied Islam for a few years. So you know, I went around in circle. You know what I mean? And I always was one to try to be exact. You know what I mean? I always like to be right, exact on things, and try to go at things in a rational way, have a rational view. So basically, man, I just came to the point of rejecting it all and seeing it all for what it was. Basically a myth.
Yeah.
Basically it. And I'm basically where I'm at now. So that's basically it, man. You know, just to sum it up, because we could be all night just talking about it.
Oh yeah, I know. And it's interesting because, like I was just saying in the beginning, like a lot of black atheists I meet, you know, most of them was under the church at one point in time and went through a similar transition like you know, went from theist to agnostic theist to eventually just being agnostic to eventually just crossing over to atheist. You know, a lot of people don't even understand his differences and his labels and everything else. I know Steve's in the chat. He loves talking about this. I know you hear the debates go on over there in the debate community over there. Like it's a hotbed topic as far as like what's an actual agnostic and what's an actual atheist and everything. You know, you got
a lot of people get caught up, man, in ego and semantics.
Yeah,
it really comes, and it comes down to a lot of context. You can't tell somebody else what they are, what they believe about themselves. That's the first thing you got to do. Understand the formal, you know, the formality of what a word is. You know what I mean? Just getting into it and all that is really, you know, damn semantics. You know, we know what you're saying. You understand what I mean? So just address it how it is. Everything else is really, I just call it rhetorical bullshit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, it's pretty much semantics. You know, it only really holds water.
But you know, it's interesting for philosophical debates. But
yeah, I was just about to say it really only holds weight in the debate circles because, you know, like in everyday life, most people don't get too wrapped up in philosophical definitions opposed to the online definition and everything. Like,
right, there are differences.
Oh yeah, they are differences. Like I fall in the lines of the philosophical definition, but I subscribe to the online definition because I think it causes less confusion for the common person, like the person that's not too much into these theological debates. Kind of dumbs it down. And a lot of people don't like it because it includes agnostics, and you know, a lot of agnostics don't like to wear the label atheist in no way, form, or fashion. So they don't want to even fall under that umbrella. So, you know, that's pretty much what the debate is all over, whether or not agnostics or atheists. That's pretty much what it's all about.
Well, I mean, you know, whatever somebody want to call themselves is up to them. You know, you have some atheists who declare themselves to be atheists, but you know, they actually are afraid of the term too. But when you talk about agnostics and atheists, I mean, you're just talking about a difference of a viewpoint. You know, you have different definitions. It's not just one definition of atheism. Like it's not basically just one definition of agnosticism. The agnostic, you know, basically you're just saying this person is saying they're suspending judgment, you know what I mean, on the belief in a deity. You know what I mean? I don't think that's, you know, I think that's like a riding the fence type but at least this is the thing I say about it. At least that person is not a theist. So I look at the agnostic being with us. You know what I mean? Yeah. I tell all my agnostic. I got plenty of agnostic friends. You really with us, so it don't matter.
The funny thing is, most agnostics, if you hear them, like you wouldn't even know they was agnostic till they told you, because you'll swear they was atheists because they present atheist arguments.
Well, you know, from a psychological point of view, they really are. You know, you could get atheists and talk one time. I know you know Steve McRae. We had this talk one time. When you look at the atheists, as far as the weak atheists, you know, when you're using the qualifiers of what an atheist between strong atheist, I don't get into all that, but when you get off into the terminology of what a strong atheist is, in contrast is, then you basically understand that the definition of a weak atheist is the same as an agnostic. So philosophical understandings, you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And understanding that you really don't too many formal definitions, or you shouldn't stick with formal definitions, because when you're dealing with these,
right? Because that's what I always ask. Like, what's the difference between the agnostic and the agnostic atheist? I kind of don't really see the difference. Like, you know, it's, like I said, it's just plain. Yeah, it's just semantics. Like, again, it's for philosophical purposes. I understand being anal about it as far as that goes. You know, as far as like holding those type of formal debates. But like, again, the average person don't get too caught up into that. The average person don't even understand don't even understand the regular definition of atheism, much less breaking down what different types of atheism is it, or whether or not, you know, our people are confused when it comes to this stuff. I gotta break down stuff.
Well, as far as our people are concerned, I mean, they're confused about a lot of things. I mean, just to say that they're confused about terminology, I mean, that's an understatement. I mean, as far as our people, I mean, right. You know, we're talking about our people. Philosophical definitions is you know, nowhere near what we need to be worried about. We need to be worried about things in philosophical terminology and philosophical understanding. I mean, we need to basically the poisons of religion first and how it's dividing, and you know what I mean, and because I wouldn't care if 30 or 40% of Black Christians right now and Black Muslims and whatever would just come over and say they're agnostics. I would be happy with that. Yeah. You don't even have to get in the boat all the way in the boat with me. Just open your mind up and you know, realize how poison religion is. You understand what I mean, Psycho?
Yeah, I feel you.
Just understand how poison that is, and why is that? Why I always talk about this a lot. I made a lot of videos on it. I even got it in my book coming up. Why is religion, as far as the stigma of religion, why is it so in depth inside of, you know, the mind of our people? You understand what I mean? Like why do we go into the Black church in contrast to the white church, and we see more emotional rants and falling out and dancing and you know, some people always use the excuse, oh, you know, Black people, it comes from, you know, our ancestors and our culture. You know, if you want to say that, that's cool, but it still equals up to bullshit, because it's, you know, the emotion. When you're talking about emotion, if you let your emotion override your rationality and reason, you know, to actually see things for what they are, then you know what I mean? And I just don't think we should keep blaming stuff like that on our ancient ancestors and our culture. You know what I mean? Because I don't deem that. I think we need to start looking at the problem for what it is. And basically, you know, when you just break it down to the smallest logarithm, I mean, it's basically, man, we don't study. We accept anything. You know, we hate knowledge. We were brought over, our ancestors were brought over here, was force-fed Christianity. And think about this, though. Only what we force-fed Christianity, but the same book. And this is why I always attack the book. You know, I always attack the book itself, because that's the foundation. This same book, that verses were used, the same God concept, this violent God concept, all of these verses were used to justify slavery, to justify calling us 3/5 human. You know, even the Pope, Pope Leo, Pope Trinicus, all of these people said that souls, you know what I mean? Because, you know, and they got these ideas from their theology. So, right. Look at this now in the era that we in. You have Black people defending, and this is a terrible thing, man. When you talk about the Stockholm syndrome, you have Black people now today defending the same book and the same way of thinking that actually disrespected their ancestors. Now that's a deep psychological problem. That ain't got nothing to do with our culture and you know how our people were. That's something that happened. You know, that's something that we have to address. You know, that's the elephant in the room that nobody want to talk about.
Yeah.
As far as why Black.
There's nothing.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say there's nothing. You know, what's really cringeworthy is to hear Bible believers, I'm just going to say Bible believers in general, because I don't want to just keep it on one thing. Bible believers in general defend slavery, like black Bible believers who defend slavery. That's cringe worthy for me.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, you know, I mean, it shouldn't be surprising because you got to think about it. Like I just mentioned, when you talk about the Stockholm Syndrome, man, and you know what the Stockholm Syndrome is,
right?
You become to have an affinity for the captive. You know, you become to love the slave master, and whatever the slave master tell you, no matter how bad it was for you, after a certain amount of time, you know, he's feeding you the table. You know, after a little while, and the amount of time you start to love this person. So, the historical consequences that happen, our people still fall in love with this Jewish zombie Jesus of 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
They don't care about textual criticism of the Bible. They don't care about what you can show them about the Bible. They don't care about what you show about the history. They don't care about anything that you can show them scientifically that makes sense, that goes against their core beliefs. They don't care about any type of common sense things you tell them about Noah's flood or the Genesis story or this God stopping the sun. They don't care about any of that. Only thing they care about is how they feel. They care about their emotions.
Yep.
All believers, you know, Christians, white Christians, Asian Christians. And I don't just want to, I don't just want to talk about the Bible believers, because we got to talk about Islam too.
As well, exactly.
Yeah, the Quran, the Quran, the Quran to me is worse than the Bible. And the Arabs had a big major role in the slave trade too. I mean, a lot of people may not know, but the Arabs, you know, the Arabs that came a few centuries after this so-called Muhammad, who was a pedophile, had the slave trade. Slave trade, as far as African slave trades, lasted 1,000 years. Whereas when we look at the English slave trade with the English and the Portuguese and some of the Jews being involved, it only lasted 300-400 years. Through Islam, and we talk about how people leave Christianity and go into Islam as if it was something better. It's really not, man. So we should address both of those religions, man. Both of those religions has been bad for Black people. It hasn't done anything for us. Both of those religions have robbed the continent of Africa.
Exactly. So I get on Islam as well.
Yeah, we gotta start spreading. We gotta start spreading the love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's crazy because I'll get on it, like just like what you just said. I always ask Muslims, I'll be like, why are you a Muslim? And they'll always tell me, you know, well, I used to be a Christian until I found out that's the white man's religion, that's the white man's book, and everything else, this, that, and the third. You know, okay, you know, I agree with that. You know, it is the white man's book, and it is a slave religion, all this, that, and the third. Not answering my question. Why'd you become a Muslim? Like, you know, you pretty much you just traded off God's oppressors. That's all you did. You traded the white oppressor for the Arabic oppressor. So why are you a Muslim again? And then you know, of course, they want to start trying to break it down how Islam is really the black man's religion and everything else. Want to try to give me a history lesson. And everything, you know.
Well, see, Psycho, I'm tell you something. See that's. I don't know. Like, I guess you have to tip back on psychology and the psychosis and something that happened with our people, because the same thing as far as you hear Black people. Well, Prophet Muhammad was Black, and you don't heard this. The original Arabs were Black. I don't care what color they were. They're pushing myth. Same thing you hear. You see the Black Hebrews. Ashamed of our ancestors. We have adopted these people religions, these myths. Now you see these Black Hebrews all over, man. They've taken on the identity of these Jews. They want to be Black Jews. In the history of the Hebrew, they can never answer my questions when I ask them about grammar. They can never answer my questions about what Black Hebrew translator through the centuries, you know, had these languages. What can you please show me a Black Hebrew of Black Hebrewism or the Bible or the John Wycliffe Bible or anywhere during the time of Titus Van Peschen running the Jews out of Rome? Can you show me a history of black Hebrews holding on to the language, going into the diaspora of Africa, and no one can show me that, or Greek, because we know the New Testament was written in Greek. These are things that are important for you to claim. You're claiming a whole nother ethnicity with their holy book and myths, because you are ashamed to call yourself African. Now that in itself is terrible. The same thing when you see these black Muslims. The excuses, they use excuses. Well, Prophet Muhammad and his father was black.
And let's get on. Yeah, let's get on. What about Master Farad? The white dude who came from Noble Drew Ali's Moorish Science Temple, who started the Nation of Islam, who's not even black, but telling all our people that the evil white blue-eyed devil is this and that and everything else, and the mothership's going to come down and save us. That's floating around in the sky. It was a white man.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this. As far as the Nation of Islam and the Nation of Gods on Earth, because that was basically just something that spent off away from the Nation of Islam, Master Farad Muhammad. I mean, I think Master Farad Muhammad was a fake. You know what I mean? I don't know whether he was or not, but the lessons that he brought to Elijah Muhammad, the supreme wisdom. I don't know if you've ever actually studied supreme wisdom lessons and went through
the 120.
Yeah,
the 120.
Yeah, but the thing about that, you're talking about the 30s and the 40s, and I still I give Elijah Muhammad his props for getting our people off the street, getting our people away from Christianity. But what only thing you basically did, you took one religion, one blinders off, and actually put on another blinder. You took off the blinders of Christianity, and you put on the blinders of Islam, another version of Islam, and you calling this white man, this Arab who was actually from Turkey, you calling him Allah.
Well, he was mixed. He was mixed. His mother was half white.
Well, you know, that's the case. Exactly. By your own ideology, then his mother was a devil, and your God was birthed through the womb of a devil. So that makes no sense. Then you say Yaqub, was born in this year 8400. And he was a big head scientist. You know, now they try to say, it was all symbolic. It can't be symbolic if y'all actually believe that there was this big head scientist.
You really believe that? No,
Yaqub that created the white man on the island of Patmos. This is what y'all teach. So, I mean, this is unscientific stuff. And this is why I always talk about our youth, man, learning real science, learning real history, man, and getting away from all versions of bullshit religion. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So we can't just pick on Christianity and the Bible, Islam and the Quran. We got to get off at these other people too, who just replaced another brainwashing with another brainwashing. Where they said, Emperor Atheist, the Nation of Islam cleaned up a lot of black people. That's true. Christianity has cleaned up a lot of black people too. You got people who've joined the church who've got off crack and drugs. Even though
you trade one drug for another drug.
Yeah, so when we say we're atheists, man, that means we're against all gods. You know what I mean? Particularly one. You know what I mean? So
right.
But as far as
it's just that us being black atheists, we deal with Christianity more than anything.
Well, we deal with Christianity more than anything because Christianity is the biggest religion in this country, in the US. You know what I mean?
Right,
if we was
yeah.
And the UK and the US, you're dealing with Christianity. But if we was in the East, we'd be dealing with Islam,
Exactly. Islam would be the main topic of discussion. Exactly.
Yeah, if we was in the wrong country, we'd probably cut our head off. We'd have to kill them coming at us. You know what I mean?
That's true too. A lot of people always ask that too. Like, why do you all go so hard on Christianity? Nothing about the other religions. Like, I say something about all religions. You just ain't paying attention. What it is I'm talking more about Christianity because I deal with more Christians than anything. So hence why I'm doing that. But again, that's me being a product of my environment. Just like you said, if I was somewhere else where another religion was dominant, that would be my main focus because that would be the main thing I was dealing with. So
think about this, Psycho. Then I want to speak on that. I mean, majority of blacks in this country are Christians. So of course, Christianity, majority of everybody in this country is Christian. So Christianity is going to be the major topic. I mean, we'll talk about Scientology here and there. We'll talk about Mormonism here and there. We'll talk about different things, other different smaller sects. of Christianity, like Jehovah's Witness or whatever. But Christianity, you know, as a generalization, is the biggest religion. So of course that's what we're going to talk about. The biggest pimps are in Christianity. T.D. Jakes, Osteen, you know, your Creflo Dollar. You know, I mean, so of course Christianity is going to be our main focus because the Bible, America seems to push the Bible as if it's the best book ever. And it is the best seller. So that's the one we should be going at. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Mostly. You understand what I'm saying? But think about it. But think about this, Psycho.
No, I was going to say, I totally agree with you. And like we already talked about, like, you know, one branch of set religion that's dominated in our community, which is the Nation of Islam. What's your thoughts on the Hebrews and the Hebrew Israelites? Not the black Hebrew Israelites, mind you. There is no such thing as a black Hebrew Israelite. I'm gonna keep saying that. But the Hebrew Israelites, you know, like, you know, I know you know the history with Abba Bivens and you know, the commandment keepers and everything else. It pretty much is rise since social media, because before social media, it was pretty small. You know, it was pretty, you know, it was pretty, I mean, by regular standards, it was pretty local. You know, they really wasn't branched out nationwide like that. I mean, they had some sets outside of, the Northeast or whatever, but it really wasn't large until the internet. Once the internet came around, they was able to, you know, the whole world got smaller with social media and the internet. So, you know, ever since then, you know, it's kind of took off over the last 10, 15 years. So, what's your opinion?
You know, Jenna Johan and all those, they don't took off. You know what I mean? Then you got to thank, you know, the House of Conscience for doing that too. You know, Sarnetta gave them a bigger platform. So by him giving them that platform, I ain't knocking him for doing that. You know what I mean? I mean, he was doing his thing. You know what I mean? But by Sarnetta giving them that platform, then they got even more popular. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. The internet, I mean, pushes them. But what I think about them, I mean, polluted. You know what I mean? It's I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. Because you know, you have different sects of these so-called Black Hebrews. You know, as far as Israeli School of Universal Practice, that's the biggest. You know, that's probably the biggest one now.
Yeah, they the OGs.
You know, coming up, right? But coming up in the 70s and 80s, you know, my uncle was a part of Ben Ami Israel. You know, a lot of them went over to the Moni Israel. He died now, but he actually went over there and came back. Then you had the Ben Yahweh. You had the Yahweh Ben Yahweh Nation. But as of now, you know, you have the IOCC, GCC, GOCC.
Yep,
and
GMS. I
don't really think much of them, man, because I'm gonna tell you why I don't think much of them, and this ain't to, you know, trying to sound condescending towards them, because there are a lot of theists, theistic minds that I actually respect, study, and actually know what they're talking about. But I don't respect the Black Hebrews, not because they're actually are believers or because they are claiming a whole nother ethnicity group. I don't respect the Black Hebrews because respect, research, and knowledge. You know what I mean? Everyone have I ever talked to over the last 15, 20 years, man, hey, they holler, you know, they like to scream out verses. They never want to debate head up. They don't care what you're saying. That, to me, they're like a whole bunch of, they're just a bunch of G-mans packed up in one group. You know what I mean? And
you know, just for those that don't know, there is a difference between what he's talking about. Like, he's talking about the camps, like, but you also have the moderate Hebrews who don't follow the camps, but they just read the Bible.
Right. I'm talking about the camps now, right?
I was just letting people know, those that don't know out there. But yeah, that's what he's referring to, because you have moderate Hebrews out here who don't practice the same thing that the camps practice. You know, they subscribe to the 12 tribe chart. Some of them, some do, some don't. So you know,
that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Think this. As far as the charts, I mean, these charts, man. You know, when you look at these charts, you know, they got the Mexicans on it, You don't seen the charts before. And none of these charts, man, when you address them about the charts, and if you bring up anything about DNA or haplogroups, the first thing they scream, man, is that's white man science. So
man. Yeah, I want to touch on that too. Yeah.
go ahead, man, because once you get them in a corner, they have these shelters. These are the only shelters they can run to. Oh, that's the white man science. You don't know, Yahweh this and Yahweh that. So come on, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. The 12 tribe chart was dreamed up by RER. I think he said he had a dream and a epiphany or something. The word came down to him and everything, and told him all these secret messages in the Bible and what set of people is this, that. Now, one thing I will say about the Hebrews, and I actually understand why they do this, and I actually kind of agree with the way they exegesis the Bible in a certain degree. We could argue all day long about who's the real Hebrews or whatever the case may be, but I do agree that the Bible is a nationalist book. I believe the Bible is a nationalist book. I believe it preaches nationhood, and I think that I think the proper way to read the Bible is to read it as if it's a nationalist book, because it's all types of nationalist propaganda up in there. So I don't have a problem with them reading the Bible that way.
But when the thing about it though, if you're going to read it that way, at least be able to prove that you are those people.
Right. I agree with that.
Think
yes,
about this,
absolutely.
Man. All of the bullshit that they spewing and all of the prophecies that they claim to come true. Why none of y'all ass ain't over in Israel taking y'all land? See, one thing about the white Jews, they got schools, man. They got military. They got hospitals. They have all these things for their people. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to come to a point of realization that obviously this ain't for you. Because if it was, you still would be on the corners over here screaming out Bible verses. You'll be going to take your land with your imaginary God. You'll be asking him to help you come take this land. But you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that because these folks going to kill your ass. As soon as you try to, first of all, I don't even know if all y'all got passports to get over there. So, because, I don't know, what your situation is. But I know you're not, as far as you talk about nationalization, you're not acting as the nation of these people. You're dressing over here. You're dressing the way you're trying to dress like you thought these people dressed, but you're not fulfilling the so-called prophecies of this book. Point blank.
Right. I agree with that. I don't agree that the stuff is real. I just agree with the way they exegesis the Bible. But at least as far as the way they viewing it as a nationalist book, I have no problem with that.
Well, yeah, of course it's a nationalist book.
Think about it. That's how the Klan read it. The Klan read it the same way. That's how they felt the need to enslave us. That's how they felt justified to enslave us, because they read it like it was a nationalist book. Well,
you got to think about this though, Psycho. When we use the term nationalist, and I don't want to cross over definitional or terminologies as far as cultural things are concerned. When you look at the Quran, or you ever go read the Vedas, the Indian in Sanskrit, or you go read any of the Indian writings or anything of Nordic writings, everything is about the people who created their own stories about themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The Ashantis wrote about themselves. The ancient Commissions wrote about themselves.
Right.
Everybody writes about themselves. The Jews created their own book. They made their own God up called Yahweh, and they borrowed all these ideas from ancient Canaanite pantheon of Els, and they created their own God and made their own self their chosen people. When you go to the Quran, this is the same thing that the Arabs did. The Arabs said that Allah revealed this special divine book, this last book, to Arabs. And not only did this Allah reveal this last Quran or this last revelation to the last prophet Muhammad, but he revealed it in a little bitty dialect from the tribe of Quraysh. So this is tribalism. Look at the Quran. The Quran changed the whole scene of Isaac. We know in the Bible, Isaac was supposed to have been the one that was sacrificed by his schizophrenic father Abraham. But when we get to the Quran, the theology in Quran is that no, it wasn't Isaac, it was Ishmael. So, and we understand, you know, the lines of Ishmael and Yishak and Isaac. So these things are just tribalism. When you go to the Upanishads and like I said, the Rig Vedas, all of these gods are homage to the people. When you go to go to Asia, everybody. So it's all about nationalism. And this is another thing. Black people with a history in Africa, the way that we have, why in the hell would we want to worship a Caucasian Jewish deity or a pale Arab deity? See, that's another thing that's retarded.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
I agree.
You know, stick with your culture if you want to believe in mythology.
Thank you. We got plenty of gods we believe in. I mean, practice voodoo.
You know, we have the original. We have the oldest pantheons. So I mean,
something. I mean, can we stop trying to remix everybody else's religion and
right.
You know what I mean? And practice something that we already did. If we're going to go that route, you know what I'm saying?
That's the point I'm making. We remixing everybody else shit. Why, you know, go remix the religion of the Dogons in Mali, Africa. You know what I mean? Go remix the Miller tribe or the Pygmies, or go remix some of that. You know, why y'all remixing other garbage? So that's the point.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. And what's your opinion about when people say, you know, atheist, that's Greek, you know, atheist is a Greek word and anything else, and you know, like atheos and anything, like, you know, like what's your opinion when people say, you know, you're following, they call atheism the white man's religion? Like we get that a lot as well, being black.
I'm glad you brought that up. Besides me calling it stupid and self-hatred, I want to explain something to you. Regardless of the term atheos, and we know atheos coming from the Greek, meaning, you know, no gods, basically. One thing that and this is what I said in the beginning, Psycho, understanding history. The thing about atheism and us rejecting God, this is not something that we can just say started with Greek thought. You understand what I mean? I mean, when you look at I mean, you go back to I mean, I don't know if you ever read Alan Payne or Will Durant, who went off into, who actually was a historian, who said he actually went off into some of the interior Africa when he was doing his research and study. He said that the Pygmies had no particular gods; they had no totems that they was looking up to. He said, and this was strange because most of the interior Africa had their own particular cultures of religion or belief. He said, but certain people under the Pygmy tribes, because you know there are different type of Pygmy tribes. All Pygmies are just not one generalization tribe of Pygmies. He said one particular tribe of Pygmy showed no interest in any type of godheads or gods or deities. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But this is what we got to understand about Greek thought. And I do respect Greek history because as far as a lot of Greek philosophers and Greek, and some people go back and forth on this about did the Greeks learn from ancient teachers? And I won't get off into that. I won't get off into that right here. But one thing I must say about this, Greek thought opened up a lot of different things. You know, when you study Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, you'll see, man, that a lot of these understandings are mirrored from, they are still mirrored from ancient Nubian, ancient Ethiopic, Kushite understandings. Right. As far as, and what I mean by that, I don't just mean as far as the totem worship. I'm talking about the understanding of questioning. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of questioning the idea, because nobody knows where the idea of religion came from. We can't pinpoint who started this God worship. But we have just like we can't pinpoint where language come from or how did it start. But we can pinpoint a generalization of why humans started worshiping deities or created these deities for themselves, because they needed something they needed something to explain rain. They needed something to explain tsunamis or hurricanes, and it had to be a god. So, you know, when we go back to ancient Kemet, Egypt, what I mean by Kemet. You go back to these particular teachings, they had a particular, they didn't necessarily measure nature, didn't necessarily call them gods, but we understand the nature to mean these forces or these natural forces. And they had one for everything. You had one for rain, power, whether it was Ra, Mut, or Pet, or Noon, you know, the primordial waters. It was an understanding of our ancient ancestors just didn't understand. They had to have a reason to explain phenomena that we can easily explain today. We have no reason to have a thunder god or a Zeus.
Yeah, we don't
causes thunder. We understand what causes rain. You understand what I mean?
Thank you. But people are so exactly. It was the whole gods of the gaps fallacy, was going on, and it was understandable because again they had no knowledge of anything. And also to say that us as Black people was always spiritual and we always believed in some kind of myth or whatever the case may be, like some kind of creator, so to speak, is to say that we are inherently gullible. That's pretty much what you're saying. You're saying that we Black people are born gullible. That's what you're telling us, because you have to be gullible to say to just believe all this stuff simply on faith because somebody told you. And and to say that everybody in Africa was gullible and actually believed this stuff, and just because they didn't have a word for not believing in whatever said deity was around at the time throughout their culture, just because they didn't have a word. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't mean they wasn't atheists. Like, people get so caught up in that word is Greek and this word is Greek and everything else. Yeah, but you use a whole bunch of Greek words. They use
God. What the hell is God?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you want to pick and choose which Greek words you have an issue with because it's Greek. Like, the definition of the word don't change. If you want to call the word something else other than atheism, then pick another word besides atheism. If it means the same thing, it's still an atheist. So it doesn't, like, why are we getting so caught up on where the word came from?
Well, see, and that goes back to what I was saying about words. This is why philosophy is, and because I mean, honestly, you're going back. The concept of atheism predates Greek thought. I'm very sure of that. Because even when you talk about the Akkadian and Sumerian language, there are actually words. As far as even Sumerians, the Sumerians were, I could say, a cultural religious bunch. As far as the Epic of Gilgamesh and Enuma-Elish. But there are words within the Akkadian language, with the ancient Akkadian language, that actually means non-Anu. And Anu was one of the deities of, if you're familiar with Sumerian religions, Anu or Atik were some of the deities. And they actually have words that mean against those particular deities. Theism, the Greeks just understood, because they were intelligent enough to understand, theism is the belief in these particular gods or theos or these particular deities. But atheism is saying, no, we don't accept that. So it ain't about the word, it's about the concept. It's just like when you talk about the word G-O-D. I mean, everybody use, even Muslims use it, but we know that God is a Germanic word, but it's all about, it's all about context. Why get caught up in these damn words? We understand the concepts of the word. So, I mean, that's a bunch of bullshit when you use that excuse.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not intelligent. It's not an intelligent retort, honestly, Psycho. I mean, it's not intelligent at all.
No, it's not.
It's not going to win. That point.
It's a red herring. It's kind of a red herring. It really doesn't make any sense. It's kind of it's pointless. Muchacha asked, is there a master creator or intelligent designer? She's just asking. Well, as an atheist, I would have to say no, or else I'll be a bad atheist.
Well,
so no,
I answer that question as an atheist and as a student of science. I would say no. Intelligent design is something that it just doesn't show up in science. I mean, peer review, it doesn't show up, period. Intelligent design loses all the time, because you talk about intelligent design, you're talking about, these are two different words. The first one being intelligent, and the second one being design. I mean, you look at just the human body, you look at the way we're made. It wasn't intelligent. We really wasn't intelligent design. We got a windpipe. We have one particular way, psychopath, what to eat, or we can actually choke at the same time. So this wasn't an intelligent design. You look at the laryngeal of the giraffe, and look how far. If you look at the design of the giraffe, that wasn't an intelligent design. So when you're talking about intelligent designs, you would have to be talking about an all-knowing creator to know to create something better than that. When you look at the universe, Tyson say this all the time. People take it as a joke, but it's really not a joke. You know, all physicists say this. All astrophysicists say this. We could be destroyed anytime. The universe is a violent place. You know what I mean? It's not something that was just perfectly created for humans to be in. We just happen to be here. You know what I mean? It's not something that some all-knowing being just thought of. If he did, I just don't think he's that intelligent. I don't see the intelligence there. I really don't.
Yeah. To answer her other question, she said, how do you two say we came into existence? Where did we come from? Well, I'm pretty sure he's on the same boat as me. I know me, myself, you know, I believe in abiogenesis and evolution, you know, because for me, that is the best explanation for creation that was presented to me. You know, I hold the position until somebody shows me something better or presents me something better that makes more sense than that, then I'm going to roll with that as far as, you know, my explanation as far as how creation happened. I don't get too wrapped up into it because, you know, it's not really my place of expertise, so to speak. But, you know, again, that's my explanation. I'll let you go ahead and answer the question.
I'm glad you said that. That's one thing I'm so happy you just said, Psycho. You said that I'm going to accept this, and I want to make a point on this, and I'm going to answer a question too. I'm so glad you said that. You said I'm going to accept this until something else comes along and, you know, gives me a better idea. You understand what I mean? This is the thing. Right. Abiogenesis, you know, it haven't been actually proven yet. Abiogenesis and evolution are two different things. We know evolution is a fact. I'm not a biologist. I'm not an evolutionary biologist. There's a lot of guys, a lot of people speak much more better than me on this. You know, I'm more of a space guy. But as far as evolution is concerned, we do know for a fact that microevolution is a fact. Macroevolution is a fact according to the evidence that we have found. You know, people are always talking about that, you know, especially people like Kent Hovind, who is the, oh my God. Yeah. You know, people like Kent Hovind and Ken Ham, these are the biggest advocates as far as YEC and young earth creationists who say that evolution is not a fact, and they always asking for transitional fossils. But the thing about it, and the thing they're asking for, we actually have.
I know.
You had a friend of mine that built, huh?
And they just deny it.
Say that again. You said something? Did you say something, Psycho?
Yeah, no, I was saying, and they just deny it.
Oh, but see, the thing is, you can't deny it. How can you deny something? This is why I don't respect young earth creationists, because they don't respect evidence. If you don't respect evidence, this is another thing, man. If you don't respect evidence, how can we talk? You know what I mean? How can we even talk? You know what I mean? What kind of exchange can we have if you don't respect evidence? You know, like Kent Hovind, he's debated a lot of different people and basically been destroyed. Bill Lutlow's one example. I mean, just embarrassed him, man. Kent Hovind didn't even know what C12 and C14 dating was and what the procedures were. It was terrible, man. And then I told Bill that you wasted your time, man. You really wasted your time. Respect evidence. Then, I mean, what is Stephen Ray say? He said he rendering the Kent Hovind versus Dr. Herman May's video as we speak. It's terrible, man. But the thing is, evolution is a fact. I don't even know why that's still a debate. Keep talking about DNA, and people keep arguing over DNA and how it works. And now you got dodo birds talking about a dinosaur doo-doo. It's all type of shit that these clowns are putting in the game. Then you have a separate thing called abiogenesis, which basically teaches, just down to a non-life, life coming from non-life. Now, that's still out on the jury. But this is the thing I want to say, just to answer the question. Even if, and this is another thing, this is the point we have to make. Even if abiogenesis, as we understand it today through the hypothesis, even if it turns out to not be true, or just say some of the facts of evolution change over the years, God is still an illusion. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. Evolution not being a perfect right now, or abiogenesis not being perfect right now, does not predicate the existence of anything. And that's the point I try to make. So these arguments are irrelevant. Predicate, because one thing about science, the difference between science and religion always claim to know. Science doesn't do that. Science is always open for change. This is why science keeps winning, because science doesn't say we know this. Science says, hey, well, this is what we found until something else comes better. Because think about it, a theory can always change in science, but the facts of a theory never changes. You understand what I mean?
But it takes science to correct science. You can't correct science with a 2,000-year-old book. It doesn't work like that.
Exactly. So when you contrasting science and religion, I mean, it's just no comparison, and they're not, and definitely they're not overlapping. So it's just no comparison, man. Tell me something religion has done. Tell me something religion has done for technology in the last 200-300 years.
Nothing.
Tell me one thing.
Set it back. They actually set it back, to be honest with you. Exactly. To be completely honest with you. And it set our community back too, because actually our community is scared of science. Because, matter of fact, that's a good segue. Let's get into that. Because our community is actually terrified of science and preaches that science is the white, this is the white man's science. They try to deter our kids from learning science, and it was is going to chase us away from building technology. Because if we running from science, then we're not building nothing. And if we're not building nothing, we're not getting any wealth. And we're not getting any wealth, we're staying stagnant in the same situation that we're in. We have to start building, we can't just keep trying to find these get rich quick schemes and worry about ourselves and everything. Like, I'm about to go on a tangent about something else. I want to stay on topic. Let's get on the white man.
Well, check this out. I'm glad you addressed. That's another elephant in the room that we don't address. Me and my fiance talk about this all the time, man. Now, think about the danger. And this is why Black atheism is important. Now, not to say that atheism is synonymous with science, but science helps a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Science helps you to understand things as they are. It helps you to understand the natural order as they are. It helps you to view our world and the things and phenomena in our world as it is, and why things tick. When you have a culture, man, a culture that's basically giving a sign to our kids that Jesus is all they need, or that science is for the white man, what you're doing, man, is you're destroying a whole race of people. Because
thank you.
People, we got this stigma, we got this mindset like the world gonna wait on us because we the original people. Time gonna stop still for us, and that's a damn lie. When you look at Silicon Valley right now, man, we talk about basically the seat of technology in this country, in the world. Man, our numbers are very small in Silicon Valley, man. Technology and science is what we need to be pushing to our people. And basically, man, this is what I'm trying to do, and other atheists are trying to do. We're trying to normalize atheism and push science to the kids. I'm kind of not even worried about people my age no more, Syke. I'm not worried about older people.
Nah.
God, man, it don't, let them die off. But the future, man, is in technology. The future, just like I was talking to grade squad the other day. Financial education. You understand what I'm saying? We was talking about cryptocurrency and all these different things, man. The future is in technology.
I'll listen to that. Yeah.
That's right. If our children, I'm talking specifically Black children here, Jewish kids, Indian kids, and Asian kids. Dude, that's all you see in Silicon Valley. That's all you see around this area, man. It's blowing the future up. You understand what I'm saying? They working on, I'm talking about 15. I ain't talking about kids that are already in college, is going to UCLA or Berkeley's. And I'm talking about kids that are still in high school, 14, 15 years old with 4.1, 4.4, 4.5 GPAs. These kids are ahead of the ball. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And our kids are getting left behind. And you know, and it's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues. Racism is still here. I mean, and
there's a lot of things at play.
And a motherfucker like Donald Trump ain't helping, talking about shithole countries. So fuck him. But so we still got a system that we got to fight against. But I'm gonna tell you something. I think our priorities are fucked up. We worrying about the wrong stuff, man.
I totally
police brutality going to be there. Okay. We need to concentrate on our youth, man. You know what I mean? We got to concentrate on our youth. And some of us is of age. It ain't too late for us, but we definitely need to concentrate on improving the black public school.
Right.
Sector, you know, the private sector, you know, it's going to do what it's going to do anyway. But we need to work on the curriculum and talking to people in our fucking areas. These fake ass, a lot of these fake ass black politicians who've been running for council in your neighborhood.
Right.
You need to start holding them accountable. You need to start holding you can't worry about the president. You got to worry about the local motherfuckers. These motherfuckers who.
Thank you. I try to tell my people this all the time with this politics stuff. They got so pissed off last year that Donald Trump got into office and Hillary didn't win anything. I'm like, why are y'all so mad? I'm like, be mad, get mad this next election if your person don't get in. You understand? Your politician don't get in, because that's gonna affect you a whole lot more than this Donald Trump thing. Trust me, in the long run. Trust me, because
I'm gonna tell you something else I hate too, Psycho. And I used to be like this myself though, so I gotta talk about me too. Voting, man. I used to be like, you know, and you know, you probably was like this. Man, fuck voting. You know, that's you know, them Caucasians gonna do what the hell they want to do. You know what I mean? Fuck vote. We don't need to vote. But I'm gonna tell you something. That's the most ignorant lines of thinking that you can have. No, it just proved itself. It just proved itself with this racist down in Alabama. You know what I mean? What was his name? The one that was messing with all those women in Alabama.
Yeah.
When the blacks got out to vote, when those blacks went to vote, the tables on those numbers. You know what I mean? Yeah. And people got mad.
Yes.
The whites down in Alabama got mad. You know what I mean? They got mad.
We need to start holding our votes. We need to start holding our votes hostage until we find some people that's serious. Right. Like we can't just keep throwing our votes to any Democrat that pops up and just votes it, because these Democrats they ain't that much better than the Republicans, to be honest with you. Like I don't trust none of them. Like the Republicans are wolf. The Republicans are wolf. We all know that. But the Democrats are wolf in sheep's clothing. So that's
but see, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's another thing, man. Our people are you know, and some you know, I tell people this, man, in forums, and a lot of black people get mad, but our people are basically apolitical, man. They really just, a lot of us just don't understand politics. We sway towards the Democratic Party, but the liberals are really not. The liberals actually put us in a bad position, man, coming up from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You know, as far as creating the welfare state. The Republicans didn't create the welfare state. The Democrats created the welfare state. The welfare state has done more damage to the black family. You understand what I'm saying? Than slavery did.
It helped destroy the black family. The black family
listen, man,
longer way back then than it.
Yeah, Roy Moore, that's his name. That was, appreciate that, Happy Jesus. Roy Moore, that was his name. But the welfare state was the worstest thing since slavery, if it was not worse, because you know, I don't know if you've ever listened to Thomas Sowell, but But he's a right winger.
Yeah.
He's black, a brother.
Nah,
Democrat or Republican.
Familiar. We're familiar. Yes.
Are you familiar? Right. A lot of black people don't like what he says, but he's a brilliant dude, and he actually makes a lot of great points. History of Democrats and black people. You know, facts are facts. I don't care who it's coming from. Like I said, I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I'm more of what I call myself a progressive moderate. I mean, I go with, if I'm a vote, I'm just gonna pick my poison. Like Hillary Clinton, I was telling my fiance, you know, she went on like, well, she knew Hillary was a crook, but she was doing it for the female thing. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Trump was a clown, but picking your poison, you know what I mean? You got to pick your poison. I thought Hillary was a crook. Yeah. I didn't care about her much. And, you know, black people got emotionally involved with her. Some people went with Donald Trump, said, well, he might do something. Well, you see how that worked out. Like you said, we have to start learning who these people are and stop favoring a party. And,
right.
And one thing we have to come to the conclusion. You know, you have different parties, but you got the two main parties, Democrat and Republican. You know, the Green Party. People from the Independent probably ain't gonna never win a presidency.
Never. And
I like Jill Stein. I actually like Jill Stein. I like the other guy that was running, but you know they ain't got a chance. If you care about the presidency, then you gonna have to vote for one or the other. Ain't nobody from these other parties, these independent parties, gonna win. Black people need to become more aware of whoever our vote. Get our voting blocks and say, hey man, like Hillary, they just automatically think black people gonna vote for them. We gotta stop. We gotta stop making.
That's why they don't promise us nothing. That's why they never promise us nothing. They don't have to.
Exactly, because they already know we stupid with them anyway. You know what I mean? But the thing is, we have to start, especially the people on the state and city level, the city councilmen. These city councilmen getting in these positions, they ain't doing shit. They doing all this talking, they doing shit. They ain't helping our public schools. They're not helping our students. Our graduation rate,
if we get locked down,
dropping, getting lower and lower.
Yeah,
we got to address issues like that.
We got to lock down our local politics first before we start trying to worry about all this. And like because that, again, it's a game. Like that whole presidency situation, it's all a game. It's not even our game. It's not even our game. They just use us as pawns in their game to get to further advance them. You understand? Like this is like they need our votes to help them advance. But again, we're so trained to vote to the left that the left done stop trying. You know, like they don't even got to fight for our votes anymore. They ain't got to promise us nothing, anything. We still on the civil rights bill high. You understand? So exactly. we didn't even said it. You know, it's good. I'm gonna have these niggas voting for us for 200 years, and he's 25.
But you know what though? But you know what though? This is something that enough, especially with MLK. Birthday just was as far as the celebration of his birthday date just going Monday. I don't think a lot of people actually bring up the point that MLK, as the civil rights was a waste of time before he died, you know, and he understood that human rights was something way more important than civil rights. And this is basically when they killed him. When he, you know, and you know, I know you know, see, speak up for the regular workers, man. The garbage guys, the trash workers, spoke out against Vietnam. You know, it's a speech that was going around. It was actually called the mistake. It was a mistake that he even said that he made.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As far as
he said
integrating his people.
Actually a nightmare. He said that dream he had was really a nightmare. He said he made a mistake.
But I don't know why. But that speech. Right. You seen that speech?
You broke up a little bit. I missed that. What'd you say?
Yeah. So you did see that. You know, you've seen that speech before.
Yes.
Okay. But for some reason, that's not talked about a lot. That particular version of King is not talked about. We went because right back. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the reason why you don't see that a lot is because they trying to push an image of Martin Luther King. They romanticize him to this, since his death, to the point where they only want to push a certain message. They don't want to push the other message because the other message was deemed as being too militant, starting to go towards that line of militancy. Just pushing for Black Power or whatever. Because everybody knows he got murdered right around time, like you said. He started speaking out against the war, which was a no back then. Right. They did not like people that spoke out against the war, dodged the draft, whatever the case may be. You was deemed as treasonous. So they pretty much turned on him. The same people that helped him get the Civil Rights Bill turned on him, and also he started saying he was about to start going to the UN to start asking for reparations. They didn't like that as well. So that's when he's like, okay, we gotta get him out of here.
King was about to start saying, hey, you owe our people. We need that. You know what I mean? Exactly. King basically woke up, and that's something that we need to start controlling about our people. You know what I mean? Stop letting them control the narrative. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly,
as far as and this, just going back to the original talk, as far as atheism, within the Black community, I think, man, that we should actually view. We should actually view atheism in the Black community as a revolution. You know what I mean? Because
I agree.
When I'm saying viewing it as a revolution, because it has to be a revolution, because we're talking about going against a violent God concept who basically allowed slavery of our people. He allowed genocide in the Bible, never spoke against slavery. This same book upheld slavery against our people. So yeah, we need to view, when you're talking about the pros and cons of atheism, I see all pros, and the cons, man, we just chew them up. And there are some cons, when you talk about some cons.
Let me bring up one of the popular cons that I hear as a Black atheist. Most popular things I hear, and this is something Black theists love to fall back on, so I might as well put this out there. They might have said it in the chat already. I don't know, but what do you have to say about people that come up and say, atheism has done nothing for our community? Only thing that ever happened.
Say that again. I missed your first point.
What do you have to say about the people that say atheism has never done nothing for the Black community? What has atheism has ever done for the Black community? The church has always been the cornerstone of the Black community. Anything good that ever happened in the Black community came from the church, and atheism has done nothing about that guy.
Well, that's the easy one to address, and I always address this. One thing we're talking about as far as doing something to be done for them instead of doing something for themselves. One thing atheism has done for me and for other Black people that I know, it's freed our mind from mental slavery. That's one thing it's done. What's the physical aspect of it? What it's done? One thing we know for a fact, the church has always been a great shelter for Black people. We know that, and see that's one of the strong suits that B Money say God is a deadbeat dad. But that's one of the strong suits that the church has. And this is why, besides our political awareness, is have to have something for people stepping away. I've been saying this for years. We have to have something in place too, Psycho, for people to step away from. You understand where I'm coming from?
Right.
We have to have something too, because the church, the church does have a stronghold on our people as far as we're talking about, food, clothes, canned goods. Even though you got atheists, you got plenty. Yeah, and let me say this right now before I, go any further. A shout out to my brothers in London, the London Black atheists. My brothers in LA, Black skeptics of Los Angeles. Then you have the AAH. I don't know if you're familiar with AAH, the African Americans for Humanism. You have the DOS. This is all in America here. You have the DOS, the Day of Solidarity for Black Non-Believers. All these are different groups. You know what I mean? All of these are different groups, but they're just not popular now. Okay, why they're not popular? First of all, Psycho, we understand that we are a minority in a minority. So we ain't all the way out there yet. Not even not
Right.
just black atheists, but white atheists is still a minority. There's even a minority in a minority. That still we need to build within that and not always assimilate with white atheists, but we need to actually, because there's a difference even in black and white atheists. You know what I mean? I tell people this all the time.
That's
you know what I mean?
Oh, that's so true.
We need to build a structure. Blacks who thinking about becoming agnostic, or blacks who thinking about leaving the church, because within the black family, man, there's a lot of pressure, man. We are looked at as devils, as vampires. Oh, you don't believe in Jesus no more? Hell no, I don't believe in that bullshit no more. We are looked at as outcasts. You know what I mean?
You ain't
I don't
lying.
want to believe in that bullshit.
Just for not believing, it's crazy. The the reactions that I get and the treatment I get after people find out I don't believe in their deity, and it's just they look at you like you got the cooties. It's funny, like
Right.
like you got some disease or something. Like, is that contagious? You got stay away from me. Like, like they don't want nothing to do. Like, this ain't everybody. Shout out to my theists who follow me and support me and everything else. I'm talking about the ones who like get spooked out by the fact that I don't believe in their deity. Like, yeah, and because there's a lot of them out there.
Why should you believe in their deity? They don't believe in all the other thousands of deities. Think about that. Think about that. You ask a Christian right now. Ask a Christian, do they believe in the Juju God of the Warlord tribe in the Ivory Coast? Or do they believe in the water or the water beings? Or do they believe in Zeus? Or do they believe in any other deity? Do they believe in Thor or the Norse gods or Odin or Loki? Ask any Christian, do they believe in them gods? And they're going to tell you, hell no. They are atheists.
Exactly.
They are atheists towards all these other gods, right?
Right.
So if they're atheists towards all these other gods, why in the hell should we believe in that one God? Why?
Exactly. And
these other gods.
They can never really give you a good reason why. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I always say, if you ever want to hear a theist sound just like me in a theological debate, get them to debate somebody who believes in a different deity than them, and watch how atheists they sound. Watch they use all our arguments, they use all our talking points. Like, well, how do you know that prophet is correct? How do you know that book is correct? How do you know this? And how do you know that? They sound just like us. It is hilarious to hear.
They do become atheists towards those other gods. They reject them point blank. They reject them. So they are atheists. Just like I hear Michael Sherman and Dawkins and Neil deGrasse Tyson always say. They say the only difference between atheists and Christians, we just go one God further. That's it. Just one more. You reject thousands of gods. We just go one more God further. We reject the same gods you reject, but we reject yours too. So that's just simple as that.
Yeah, but it doesn't brain, but to go back to that other point about how atheism has never done nothing for the community and everything else, I always like to bring up the fact that the original Black Panther Party wasn't started by theists. They was agnostics and atheists at the time. They was actually starting to, and that's actually when Black atheism really kind of started, was around the Black Power, time the Black Power movement of the civil rights, around the civil rights time started. Like, a lot of those people started giving up on God. Some switched gods and they turned Muslim and everything else, but you had a segment that just started just giving up on God altogether and just became either agnostic or atheist. They probably would be considered more agnostic in today's terms, but back then every agnostic was atheist back then. So
I mean, they had good reason to. You got to think, man. When you're talking about the early movement, man, in '68, and when those brothers, when Bobby and Huey met at Berkeley University, these brothers was around. This was a thought-provoking university. These boys were no dumb. Huey P. Newton was smart, man. This man had a 4.0 GPA. Right. Bobby Seale, these boys weren't no dummies. So one thing they did understood, and I remember just reading some of the writings of Huey P. Newton years ago, man. He said one thing that he didn't understand, and he didn't actually state if he was atheist, but the way he was writing was atheistic. He said the number one thing that he stood, the number one thing that he stood for and understood that stopped black people from actually fighting against the system was religion. He said because Jesus was the number one enemy of black people because they felt like Jesus was going to make everything all right. Jesus, because damn thing for us when these motherfucking white folks busting our heads on these streets with these batons. He said Jesus and no angels ain't coming down from heaven. So Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale in the beginning of the Black Panther Party, and I'm glad you mentioned that, they understood that religion was a shackle on our mind. And they knew that as long as we had this fake ass Jesus in our hearts and in our minds, we weren't going to do shit. We were just going to go to this damn fake ass church with these pimps and take our money and get on our knees from Sky God, changing the community like ain't nothing changing now. So they understood that. So of course, a great movement is going to always come up out of rejecting a mental shackle. So you know that was a great point.
Right. Because I always have to remind people of that, you know, because you know people just again they automatically just assume everything good came out of Christianity, and it's also a fallacy when they do that because. Once you know we we're not that far removed out of slavery that to a point where like people can even really make that claim because once slavery was over, we all was Christians during and after slavery. We were. It was though like people ain't start branching off from Christianity until what the early 1900s. I want to say what Noble Drew Ali was one of the early pioneers of this branching off from Christianity movement. You know, then you had the Nation of Islam that came like some years later, and you know everything.
They had Deuce Muhammad Ali too, but he had a small part.
Right. You're right. Yeah, you know, Malcolm X really popularized the Nation of Islam. You know, the Nation of Islam was really a small niche group until Malcolm came along. And you know, recruiting everybody. Like he just started pulling in a whole mass, you know, numbers by.
But you got to think though. But you still got to think though, even in those times, you know, 30s and 20s and 30s, it still was a small minority of those that were breaking off.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Even then, exactly.
Right. It ain't like the Moorish Science Temple just brought a whole bunch of black people out of Christianity. You know what I mean? And as far as the Nation of Islam, you know, during Malcolm time, they didn't have big numbers. You know, after Malcolm died, and then in Farrakhan in the 70s, that's actually when he had they big because Farrakhan, he, you know, his character.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali also had a lot to do with drawing a lot of people Islam as well. I gotta give him his credit.
That's true.
So yeah, you know, but you know, it's not really a long history of us getting out of Christianity. It's kind of almost. So it's really unfair when people say stuff like, well, this person back then, you look at this person, he was a Christian. Look at, like, they bring up Nat Turner was a Christian. Well, all the slaves was Christians. So like that's not, you're not saying too much. Like, you know, I don't know. I never understood that logic, but you know, you hear that type stuff a lot.
Well, you know what, Nat Turner, you know what, man, honestly, that was a debate. That was a debate one time in school. If Nat Turner actually was a Christian. Because Nat Turner, he used the Bible, but he used it to actually, you know, to revolt. You know what I mean? Nat. And maybe he was a Christian. Maybe he was, but read the Bible in a certain interpretation, you know, that would get his people to say, hey, man, we need to stand up against these devil, you know, slave traders. So I don't know. He probably was a Christian, but he definitely used it to his advantage.
Yeah. He was a Christian.
You know what I mean?
Well, he was a Christian according to the way we understand what a Christian is.
Right.
Yeah. Some Christians out here who will tell you he wasn't a Christian, but by our definition of what a Christian is, he was definitely a Christian. You know, he was one of the people, he was one of the slaves that they would grab up. They actually taught him how to read the Bible and interpret the Bible the way they want him to interpret the Bible. And they would snatch him up, take him to different plantations, and he'll teach the Bible. He'll teach, preach to the slaves on the plantation. Then he'll go back to his plantation. Yeah, so they kind of just he was one of the slaves. You know, they always had one or two slaves on the plantation who knew how to read, and they only knew how to read the Bible, and that was it. Just so they can further indoctrinate slaves, which in itself should tell people something's wrong with this book. Like if this was originally our book, this is what a lot of people try to present to me, that this is originally our book. It was originally our book. Took it away from us. They stripped us of our land. They, according to y'all, they stripped us of our religion and everything else. And then we get over here, and what do? They indoctrinate us back with the same book that they that they spent all the trouble removing from us and everything else and had us forgot about. Wouldn't it? Why would they take the book from us, have us forget about the book, just to give it back to us so we can relearn about the book and everything? Like, that don't even make any sense. Can't nobody make no sense out of that for me. Whenever I present that argument, God
did it. God did it, Psycho. God did it. That's the first thing they're gonna say. It was God playing all along. It's just it's ignorant way of thinking, man. That's all it is.
Yeah,
this
like
is why I always attack.
Yahweh is so incoherent, it's ridiculous. It really is.
He's very incoherent. He's very incoherent. I mean, maybe, just maybe, Psycho, the deist God might exist, but for sure,
and you know, as an atheist,
God don't exist.
Yeah, as an atheist, I always say the hardest God to debate against is the deist God. That's the hardest God to debate
might
against.
Just exist. The deist God might have started the Big Bang or created the universe. Maybe. But I always tell people that when I my atheism as a proposition. My atheism as a proposition. This is why I say understanding these philosophical. Atheism as a proposition says there are no gods. You understand what I'm saying? But
right.
But when I take on theists, specifically Jews, Christians, and Muslims, I specifically hold my atheism as a proposition, and I definitely take on the burden of justification and burden of proof to show that their God don't exist. You have a lot of people say, well, the religious people should always bear the burden of proof. That's true. But when I'm taking on the hard atheism, and I'm saying that there are no gods, I'm specifically talking to Christians and the Muslims, and then I will have my burden of justification to show that, because that God, according to their own theology and according to their book, can exist. That's just like saying, can a married, if I ask you a question, say, can a married bachelor exist, Psycho? You're going to say, no, a married bachelor can't exist.
Right. That's absolute.
A square circle can't exist. So when you're talking about something that's logically incoherent, the Bible and the Quran and the Torah and the Talmud, this God can't exist. But like I said, I always say, getting deeper off into a pantheist God or a deist God, I don't know. I would have to create other arguments about those gods. The Judaic Christian God, oh yes, definitely. Which is the biggest, most popular God anyway. That God definitely don't exist.
I gotta ask you about the new two of the new things that's floating around is the online sensation amongst our community as far as belief systems go. Of course, we have the flat Earth crew. We have this cult. That's what I'm gonna call them. What they is, they're online cult. They are very cult-like about their beliefs. They believe NASA is the devil and flat Earth is the deity, and they act as such. They are very religious about this. They really believe that you got some, not all, because you got different types of flat earthers. You have the flat earthers who are religious, who believe it says this is written in the Bible, and they pull up scriptures to try to back up these claims. And then you have the people that believe in aliens. And they believe, aliens got us trapped inside some ice circles or ice walls or whatever the case may be from Planet X, some Anunnaki type belief system. And then you got, the other online craze that's going on in our community that's very cult-like in my opinion, which is the whole indigenous thing about black people being indigenous to this land. We are the real Native Americans. We're not even from Africa. We've been lied to. It's a grand conspiracy. You know, this is what they'll try to convince you. And this is actually our land. We are actually the Native Americans. And yeah, it's again one big grand conspiracy. I've had people tell me that the slave trade is fake, is all propaganda. And one of them's in the chat right now. But yeah, I'm sure he wants to know what your opinion is about that, though.
I mean, that was a whole lot. I mean, what you want me to tackle first? That was a lot of pseudo history and stuff you just asked. So first,
yeah, we could touch on the flat Earth first.
Oh shit, man. Listen, man. I made a couple of videos on that, but I'm tell you like this. It's pathetic for anybody to believe bullshit like that. And I think mostly it comes from a religious way of thinking because, you know, people want to believe that the Bible and the way they interpret certain verses of the Bible, they said that, you know, the land was flat or it was a flat plane. But in actuality, the Bible don't actually interpret it totally that way. But even if the Bible did, so what? It's the Bible. I mean, just take me back to what I said at first, Psycho. If people don't respect evidence, what kind of exchange can we really have if you don't respect evidence? I mean, I have a partner of mine named Cool Hard Logic, man, who has basically tackled that. Great community, got guys now that's been tackling that. It's a subject, man, that's so it's worse than the young Earth creationists to me. For somebody to believe that they can take they ask dumbass questions like, show me the curve of the Earth. These people, first of all, they don't understand. I mean, it's so many fallacies, man, that I could just mention. As far as gravity, man, the contradictions, or how far they think the sun is from the Earth. Yeah, man. I mean, oh my God, it's so many problems with believing that the Earth is a flat fucking plane. Yeah, it never will. You believe the Earth is flat, but you can look out and see Venus and Mars and Mercury and our sun. Everything else is spheroid, but you think the goddamn Earth is flat. I don't know what to say to you, man. I mean, I don't know. You know, you say NASA is some type of goddamn conspiracy theory, and this is the thing about that. You're dealing with some people, man, with low IQs. Obviously, yes, they got it. To think that NASA, they think that NASA is some type of Illuminati, a lie that can fool the whole world. You got to be the dumbest motherfucker in the world.
You think? I mean, just imagine. I mean, think about the grand conspiracy they are trying to tell people that's going on right now. Because this isn't just NASA. This isn't just an American conspiracy. Oh no, every country in the world has to be in on this.
But see, think about this, Psycho. Think about this, Psycho. First of all, we have records of astronomers who knew that the Earth was a spheroid before NASA was even fucking created. That's the first problem they got to address. NASA was just created in the 1940s. I can't remember exactly what year. NASA is new on the fucking scene. We had astronomers who told us that the Earth was spheroid through physics, through math. We understand this, man. That the Earth is a spheroid, not no fucking flat plane. Yeah. But for the whole world, and the whole scientific community and the whole of NASA to concoct a conspiracy about the Earth being spheroid, first question you have to ask these flat-tards is, who has concocted this conspiracy? What do they have to gain? Because usually, if somebody is concocting a conspiracy, I'm not denying that conspiracies don't happen in the world. We know there are such things as conspiracies. I mean, I can give a great example of a conspiracy, a worldwide conspiracy with world bankers, for example. We know that the world bankers, J.P. Morgans and Rothschilds, we know that they had a conspiracy to take people money. But the thing about a conspiracy, we can actually find out who the conspirators were. We can find out who gained from this conspiracy. We can find out what was the outcome of the conspiracy. Well, when you go back and ask that question about the world bankers, we know that the people got fucked up. 1929 was a fucked up year. We know that all of our people, a lot of our people, their money got sucked out on them. The money market crashed in 1929. And the economy didn't get that good until a long time. So we know that was a real conspiracy. In a flat
World War II, actually, the economy after World War II, the economy got up.
Exactly. But in a flat Earth conspiracy, who are the conspirators? You just telling me now? What are they gaining from telling people or from making CGI fake pictures of the Earth? What is anybody gaining from that? Who gives a fuck if the Earth was a fucking a trapezoid? What difference would it make?
Exactly.
Why do I have to lie about the Earth being a spheroid? What's the point?
That's why I always ask, like, what are they gaining by this? Like, I don't even understand what this conspiracy is about, but they always fall back to, like you said, the Illuminati. You know, it's the elite. You know, they trying to chase people away from God. They want people to believe in evolution and all this whole other stupid madness.
I tell people, man. I tell people, you know, certain people we shouldn't even have exchanges with, because a flat tard ain't gonna never have no real debate with nobody, because they ain't got no information, they ain't got no evidence to prove their points. You know, they say, well, you know, the reason we haven't made it out to the edges of the earth because there's some military people out there stopping us from going. It's always some bullshit.
Yeah, and they can't back up claims. They can't back up none of these claims. All they do is just make wild assertions that they can't back up. And then and they never try. You know, you ever noticed this about these flat earthers is they never go out to prove that the earth is flat. They just try to prove that it's not round. Like they just attack you. They try to make you prove that the earth is round, opposed to them proving that the earth is flat.
Yeah. I emailed Elon Musk about 3 months ago. And I sent him a tweet. I told Elon, I said, hey man, because this one B.O.B. dumbass, you know, B.O.B. stupid motherfucker, you know, rapper from Atlanta whose career must be going down the drain. You know, he actually tried to debate or have a debate with Neil deGrasse Tyson on this subject.
Oh man,
get him a ship or some dumb shit, and was gonna fly out.
Oh man, that's crazy. You know, Kyrie Irving done lost his mind. You know, he's
Kyrie Irving changed his mind. Kyrie Irving, he took it back.
Oh, okay. I got to go back and I got to find that because he done became the most popular flat earther of all time until you just told me what he's that. I got to go find that. Okay, I'm glad he showed this is.
Shaq said it too, but Shaq recanted.
Okay, all right.
Shaq, he recanted. He don't believe that. But
okay, all right, because it's a sickness, man. It's madness. I don't even understand. You gotta be extra gullible to believe that. What's your opinion about the indigenous? Let's move on to the indigenous craze that's going on online. That's becoming real popular in our community.
About black people being original Indians.
Right.
Okay, listen. Now, this is another elephant in the room that black people get emotional about, because we've read all of these books, and you've read all of these books. You know, you read all of the Stones Cry and all these type different ideas of the Olmecs coming from West Africa, which we have no evidence of that. But they said, well, the Olmec head looks just like an African. That don't mean it's a goddamn African. Thing about that, man, is this. I'm gonna go back to DNA. The same thing. When I tell the black Hebrews, I always stomp them with it. They can never prove to me, and that's why they try to avoid me. We talk about one thing about DNA, can't get around them. You can't get around them. So I don't give a damn what you believe. But language tells everything about a person and a culture. Everything about a people with haplogroups, groups, migrated. We're talking about markers. Tell the story. Now you can easily just get out of that debate with me and just say, well, it's the white man's science. Then, we ain't got nothing else to talk about if you just think it's the white man's science. But this is the thing about it. I'm the people you want to say, because it's and people that deny any black person that denies the middle passage, then they stupid anyway, because we have too many records showing us of people that came from West Africa on ships thrown up to the 18th century till it was outlawed by the UK, outlawed, and then Portugal outlawed it. So anybody that denies us actually taking this 9,000, our ancestors taking this 9,000 mile trip over here, but anyway, and can easily be debunked through slave narratives and through history. That we have a historicity that shows and prove that. So I'm done talking about that. Now, as far as DNA, if black people were the so-called original native, we're gonna say native because Native Americans are called Native Americans for a purpose because they mean they were original to this particular land. So if blacks, or we're gonna say African-blooded people, came over here on ships, which we have no records of this thing, but if we have, and if they have a record, tell them please produce these records. That African ships sailed from the west all the way through, obviously through the Panama Canal, all around Central America. Please show that. They can never show that. Okay. Now, if black people, let me get back to this point. If black people were the original native, indigenous people of this land, the DNA would show. In other words, Psycho, there would be two different haplogroups. There would be a haplogroup of blacks, particular land, and there will be a haplogroup showing over here in either Western Southern Africa.
Right.
All these haplogroups, you're not going to tell me that just all of these particular groups and came over here, and then the natives came, however you say they came, whether they came through the Bering Strait, or they came through Alaska, or through the Micronesian Islands, Oceania. You cannot tell me that all of the DNA that we see mostly. Almost every black to tell you this, when they go get a DNA test, it's going to show 70% sub-Saharan African, 12, 13%, 15% European, and mostly 7, 8, 9, 10%. This is what the average test is going to show for blacks that are in this country. If we were natives to this particular country, okay, you understand what I'm saying? Right. If we were natives, our DNA markers would show different because not only does DNA just show what's your subclad, it shows migration. It was showing migration over here earlier than when we came. DNA haplogroups don't show that. The Native Americans that are here in this country today, their markers show that they got Oceanian blood. And you know, I can send you these links, man. These are the latest links from UCLA, from Stanford University, from all the biggest DNA specialists, John Hopkins, shows that the Native Americans today, I mean, whether they're Cherokees, Apache, Sioux, whatever you want to, whatever group of Native Americans, however you want to break them up tribally,
right?
They show the same haplogroups, the same DNA markers coming north, coming towards the United States through Alaska, Eskimo blood as well. They show the same haplogroup. That's right. The same thing coming from Bering Strait. This is Oceania. They got Oceanian blood, Micronesian blood. Nothing from Africa. Everything from Asia. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Coming across Alaska from Asia, through Russia, from Mongolian. These are Mongolian and Siberian bloodlines.
Yep.
This is what they're showing. We're not showing that.
That's why Eskimos and the Aztecs resemble each other because they all have the same bloodline.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This is the same haplogroups. So there's nowhere in the hell. And see, this is another thing, man. You know, we got to stop being culture vultures. We just have to stop being. We got enough history in Africa for us to not be a cult. We want to be the original Chinese to be black. We want the Jews to be black. Now we know scientifically that everybody eventually came about Africa. We know this. I mean, going all the way back to hominids,
right?
To Homo australopithecus, to Homo erectus, all the way on out. And we understand this. Everybody eventually merged out of Africa. We had the same goddamn time. We got to stop being culture vultures, man. It's simple as that. I made a video about this too, about blacks called Black Indian, Black Hebrew, Black Identity Crisis. So, you know, I mean,
we're trying to be everything other than what we are. It's almost like we're ashamed of our history, so we're trying to rewrite it to make us feel better. Just trying to create feel-good stories to make us feel better.
Exactly.
Opposed to, like, I'm not.
But no one can produce the evidence to say that.
No,
I mean, god damn.
They bring up, it's sad. It's sad. Again, I'm not into feel-good stories. I don't care what makes you feel good. Like I deal with facts and evidence. I like
Psycho. If we were just give it to him for the sake of argument, right? Okay, we were here first. We were the original natives to this land. Oh, okay. But you can't prove that. But what is it doing for you now?
exactly. How is this going to better our situation as a people? That's my ultimate question. Like, okay,
it's not going to better your people.
Let's just say I give you that. Okay, fine. We're indigenous to this land. I'm a Native American. I need to get my bow and arrow skills up, my archery and everything, and all this. Learn to hunt buffalo and all that. Like, all that's fine and dandy. How is that helping us? We ain't even got reservations. We ain't got no casinos. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is this helping us? Like, explain this to me. And we just once we all figure this out and figure out that we real Native Americans, then we can do like they I don't
mean what they
give me some
out. All you got to do is take you and your family. If you believe that you're a Native American, you take you and your family and get your prize, whatever you think the federal government gonna give you. If that's what you think, then you claim your sovereignty, and we're gonna see how that work out for you. Because people been talking about this sovereignty thing. And they'll come to you with all this bullshit, talking about these particular codes and these laws, how you don't have to pay taxes, and it ain't working out for them. And and if they think that it doesn't take a whole collective of black people, so yeah, we Indians, we want our casinos now, do it and start the trend in the courtroom. That's how we'll do.
Right.
That's how we'll work that.
They never can show that. They never can show that. It's all madness. It's a hustle too. It's actually a hustle, that what you're just talking about, that sovereignty and status corrections and everything else. Like, people sell that paperwork to people and promise them sovereignty that they never gained. And so pretty much they just got hustled out their money.
Ask these dudes who believe is what they put on their, if they, a lot of them ain't working for themselves, ask them what they put on their applications.
Exactly.
What do they put? Native. What do they put?
Exactly. Like, it's the most silly thing like ever. Like, just to hear these people talk about this stuff is like, and they so religious about this stuff. Like, they try to turn every conversation. Yeah, it is.
It's a religion too. It is a religion.
I thank you. I tell them that all the time too. I'm like, this is a cult. Like, you guys are a part of a cult. Like, you do. I tell the flat earthers that you guys are a part of a cult. I tell them indigenous people, y'all are a part of a cult, because all of you guys are all religious about the things you believe in. You guys always come around every chance y'all get. Y'all talking about this. Y'all are passionate about this. Every conversation turns into this. Like, we could be talking.
I mostly see it on Facebook. I don't see it in, like, I just don't see it in the real debate world. Why they don't take it outside of Facebook and groups? Because I only waste my time talking to them in Facebook groups. If you believe this, man, take it to academia and debate it, so that way the whole world can see it, and let's see what's really going on.
They don't really want that. They like a lot of these people, especially flat earthers. Flat earthers more so than indigenous people. I'll say that. Indigenous people seem like they more trying to get a debate on about this or whatever the case may be. I guess because it's still trying to take off. But that flat earth stuff, like, these guys, they only interested in debating on their platforms, and so they can mute you and boot you once you start making too much sense. You start making too much sense, that pisses them off. They get angry when you start pinning them down the stuff that they can't answer. They get angry, and then their emotions start going in.
Well, that's usually what angry people do. People who can't actually answer something with facts. That's what they usually do, because they'll have nothing else to actually revert to. So, because you know what though, I'm gonna tell you something, Psycho. I guess we've been hurt so much psychologically through history. We feel like we got to actually, we have to hang on to something, man. That's particularly, whether it's true or not, they don't care. As long as it sounds good, they might have saw it on Hidden Colors or something, and I got to go with that because it sounds good. I heard it on I heard it on Black News 101. It got to be true. We 76 trillion years old, man. Get the fuck out of here. We got to start accepting real science, man. real stuff and stop the bullshit. You know?
Yeah, for real. I mean, because as long as we sitting around here fussing and arguing. Yeah, because as long as we sitting around here fussing and arguing and trying to rewrite history to make us feel good, we're still stagnant. We're still stagnant. You're helping make us stagnant by bringing up this craziness that doesn't that's not even substantial in no kind of way. You have nothing to validate these arguments. You just causing confusion and everything because because it's real easy because people already know our people are thirsty for knowledge as far as like they not even so much knowledge. I can't even really say knowledge because they'll take anything like pseudo is winning online.
Hell yeah.
But the more pseudo you are online, the more popular you are. Because
Facebook, YouTube, definitely.
People are more concerned about feeling good than actually getting down to solutions and evidence and facts or whatever. Like they're just progressing. They want to find something else to delve into, an escapism. Like these whole belief systems to me are escapisms for them. This is their way of escaping reality, because so they don't have to deal with reality. So they'll recreate it. Their own reality that they can live under and actually, be able to maneuver in peace, peace of mind, I should say. Because, again, like, the actual reality of the situation is probably too much for them to mentally deal with. So they need to create these little false realities just so they can, get by day by day.
Right. And, I guess that makes sense, because it's the same thing with religion. People ask me, man, are you, people used to ask me all the time, even atheists will ask me, atheists that probably just came into the realization of atheism and they still kind of, I ain't gonna say on the fence, but they kind of still think about if they're wrong or right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because religion, like you said, religion gives them a psychological cushion. You know what I mean? To believe in something outside of yourself that might be listening to you, man, when you need your bills paid, or something that's listening to you, when you think you need a job, or you catch a touchdown in the end zone, you point up to the sky because
first thing you do is thank God.
Right, he likes your team and shit,
Or but if they fumble the ball, they don't curse God out though.
No, I guess it's the devil's fault then. But it's a psychological.
Boy, what's that safety's name for the Saints this weekend? Why he ain't cursed? I bet you he ain't cursed God out.
I feel bad for that young dude, man. That's gonna haunt him for a minute.
That's gonna stay with him forever.
Yeah,
that's gonna stay with him,
man. That was a terrible attempt for him to tackle, man. That really was.
Yeah, that was bad business. It was an exciting ending, though. It made for a real exciting ending. These games,
it's the best ending I ever seen in an NFL playoff game. I mean,
yeah, for real. And I see some good playoff games, but that one was that was a very entertaining game from the outside looking in. I would hate to be a Saints fan today because I know they sick. They're sick.
That was terrible, man. But yeah, I mean, it's just a psychological. It's ouch, man. So so even with these other things, when you talk about the Black Hebrews, these people want to be a part of something that they think is God's people. They say, man, we God's people. They use Deuteronomy. They say, we God's people, man. It's got to be us because we the one went through all of this turmoil and who's the devil. You can see this in the prophecy. So in your mind, you're making this Bible be whatever you want it to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is, you understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with people who want to say, you want to up yourself. You want to say that we indigenous this, or all of us ain't African. We were Native American, and I don't know why you're saying it if you ain't actually fighting it. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you saying it, then get your just dues and prove it. You know what I mean? So I don't see the point of it. It's just a strong delusion, man, of cognitive dissonance, man.
Yes.
So it's real strong.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. Let's see. Muchacha had a question earlier. I was supposed to ask you. She wanted to know if you believed in black holes and wormholes and stuff like that.
I believe in black holes and wormholes.
We've
never seen a black hole, so but we sure that they exist. Just like we've never seen dark matter, but we know we can see the evidence. You know what I'm saying? As far as the evidence around it. But I think I don't know if a wormhole exists. I'm sure a wormhole, if it exists, we probably gonna never get to see it. So it don't really matter.
Yeah, and black holes are supposed to be right after the sun explodes, right? Like goes in supernova really. And then turns to a black hole, right?
Well, this is what like when a supernova explode, right? When a supernova explode, all of this gravitational swoops in, and this black hole is supposedly, and this particular black hole is so strong, it's sucking. It's basically what the black hole does is suck up space.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of astrophysicists do think that it's real, definitely, but we've never actually seen one. So, worrying about no damn black hole. I'm worrying about my people here on Earth. You know what I mean?
I know that's right. Let me ask you a question.
Black hole ain't gonna do nothing but suck our ass up, and we be gone anyway if we get close to a black hole. So
I know that's right. We see a black hole, we probably too close, and we got a whole lot more things to worry about. What I was about to say? You want to tell the story of the first time you ever came out to somebody as an atheist, and like how that worked out for you?
I really can't remember. Honestly, I was trying to answer this question. Somebody asked me this a couple of weeks ago. And I really can't remember, man. I just, I can't like just remember a particular time where I was having this conversation and say, "Hey, I'm atheist." Now, it was like a gradual thing, man. And I just studying so many different things, so many different sciences. You know what I mean? And I still stayed up on the Bible. But then I guess I started basically practicing with a lot of my cousins and family members, and they were like, "Man, yeah." And then I guess at that time I just didn't call myself atheist, but I would be like, yeah, I think this is bullshit. But I didn't know if I can't just remember exactly when I said there are no gods. But I do remember started saying, man, this Bible shit is really a trick. It's some bullshit. This Quran is really some bullshit. But I think I still had some type of belief in a creator or a deity. You know what I'm saying? And it eventually just faded out, basically. Then I was like,
you pretty much went from agnostic to atheist, like,
Right, and never just claimed it, right? Never just said it, you know what I mean? But
me myself, I was never religious. I was my pops is religious. My pops to this day is a hardcore Christian. He actually teaches the Bible.
Yes, I'm gonna be dipping in a few minutes, man. I got some business to handle, man, with the family.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna try to wrap this up real quick. And he actually teaches the Bible and everything else. My mom's threw religion away in right around time of civil rights and everything else. She kind of stepped away from religion and everything. So religion was never big in my household. But I never really called myself an atheist at first because I didn't know. I thought atheist was like a bad word. I remember the first time somebody asked me, was I atheist? I had got so many side eyes and everything else because they asked me. I was like 8, 9 years old, and they asking me like, do you what church you go to? You religious? Like, nah. And they like, you an atheist? And I remember the looks I got from everybody and this, that, and third. I didn't even know what atheist meant. I remember that being the first time I ever heard the word. I didn't even know what it meant. But I could tell the way they looked at me, it must not be a good thing. Or at least they didn't deem it to be a good thing. So I was like, no, I ain't no atheist. I didn't even know what it was. So, by the time I got to high school, I started looking a little deeper into the stuff it meant, and I realized that's kind of how I feel. So I started identifying as that. And my friends, they thought the devil took over me or something. Like they really thought I was devil worshiping and everything like that. That's another thing that Black people get on my nerves with when it comes to atheism is they immediately start assuming that you're a Satanist or something. And I always tell them, like,
Right.
no, I reject the devil too. I don't just reject God. I also reject the devil as well. So no, I'm not a Satanist.
All myths. They're both myths.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, but I appreciate you coming on here, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, having this conversation. I think, you know, it's much needed.
No problem,
you know,
bro.
people
Anytime,
need to,
man. Anytime.
yeah, you know, people need to
Anytime.
hear that, you know, us being a minority within a minority, you know, we got a small voice in our community. So, you know, I feel like, you know, we need to be heard as well. So that way it just ain't, you know, people that do feel the way that we feel, let them know, you know, it's okay. You know, you're not by yourself.
And that's
You
what we
know
need
what
to
I'm
do.
saying? Right.
That's exactly
right.
what we need to do. But basically start reaching out. You know what I mean? That's what I be talking about. And that's why I still say it's important, man, for us to normalize atheism,
Yeah.
especially within the Black community, man. Because we got to, you
Yeah.
know, start showing people psychological change. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. We got to break these mental chains, you know, and we still locked up in these mental chains, you know. Physically, we out of slavery,
That's
but
right.
not mentally.
Well, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you, man. I gotta have you back on again. You Bill,
No
my
doubt,
sister
man.
too. My sister Renee, she be up on here sometimes with me. We do
Just
a
let me know.
podcast. Oh, definitely. All right. So I'm gonna holler at you later. I appreciate it.
All right, peace, man. Good talk, bro.
All right, that's what's up. All right. Yeah, I want to shout out everybody out in the live chat. You know what I mean? That's listening. Shout out to Black Light. Shout out to Muchacha. Let's see who else is up here. Shout out to Voice of Reason. Shout out to let's see who else was here. Chief was up in here. Phobos, B Money. Let's see who else is up in here. Nikki was up in here earlier. Let's see, Last of a Dying Breed. I see he was pissed off about that indigenous conversation. Lady J. Let's see who else was up in here. Everybody who's listening, Water, everybody that was listening, JW, peace to you. Peace to everybody. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all for listening as always. You know what I'm saying? Family. Let's see, before y'all leave, be sure to click the like button. You know, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please share the video as well. You know what I'm saying? Show the kids some love. See, be sure to hit the bell too as well. You gotta try to get these notifications. And let's see what else. Yeah, be sure to click subscribe on the link in the description for the Black Building. That's my other channel. We're gonna be putting out some more content up there, some deep conversations. You know how I do. Yeah, and I want to thank everybody out there again for listening. Shout out there to the family. You know what I mean? We should be back. I should be back on Thursday night. I should be back on. You know what I'm saying? So once again, I want to shout out to Emperor Atheist for joining us tonight. See, peace and black power. I'm out.